Hard work feels productive. That's why it's so dangerous. Most people believe that if they just work harder, things will eventually change. More hours, more effort, more stress, and when nothing improves, they assume the problem is timing, or luck, or opportunity. Rarely do they question the belief itself, because hard work isn't failing them randomly. It's keeping them financially stuck in a way that feels responsible. Hard work gives the illusion of progress without the leverage required for compounding. Money doesn't reward effort. It rewards structure. And that distinction changes everything. Hard work locks people into a trade. Time for money, energy for income, presence for pay. As long as you're there, the system works. The moment you stop, it doesn't. That feels fair. It feels honest. It feels earned. But fairness doesn't compound. Two people can work equally hard. One builds routines that require them every day. The other builds systems that function without them. At first, there's no visible difference. They wake up at the same time. They work similar hours. They feel equally tired. But over time, one remains dependent on effort, while the other slowly removes effort from the equation. The gap doesn't appear overnight. It appears quietly. Then, suddenly, this is why disciplined people still struggle financially. Discipline alone doesn't create leverage. It just sustains output. And output without leverage keeps you trapped in motion without momentum. Hard work feels safe because it's familiar. You know what's expected. You know how to measure it. You know how to explain it. I'm working hard is socially acceptable. I'm building systems quietly is invisible. And most people choose visibility over effectiveness. There's also an emotional reward to hard work. Effort creates identity. It earns praise. It validates struggle. Letting go of effort can feel like letting go of purpose. That's why people cling to it even when it's not working. Because abandoning effort-based identity requires admitting something uncomfortable. That effort alone was never the answer. Money doesn't care how hard something feels. It responds to repeatability. If progress requires constant force, it eventually collapses. If progress is built into structure, it compounds quietly. This is the psychological trap. Hard work delays reflection. As long as you're exhausted, you don't have to question direction. As long as you're busy, you don't have to confront inefficiency. Busyness becomes protection from uncomfortable truths. And that's why people stay stuck for years while feeling productive the entire time. The people who escape this cycle don't work less at first. They think differently. They ask different questions. Instead of asking, "How can I do more?" They ask, "How can this work without me?" Instead of asking, "How do I push harder?" They ask, "What repeats automatically?" They shift focus from effort to structure, from motion to leverage, from intensity to consistency. This transition feels slow, unimpressive, even uncomfortable. There's no applause for system building, no validation for patience, no immediate reward for restraint. But over time, the pressure lifts. Decisions get easier. Energy becomes optional. Progress stops depending on mood. That's when compounding begins. Not loudly, not dramatically, but reliably. Hard work isn't useless. It's just incomplete. Without leverage, it creates fatigue instead of freedom. Without systems, it produces income without accumulation. And without reflection, it becomes a cycle that never ends. Wealth doesn't come from doing more. It comes from designing better. Better behaviors, better structures, better use of time. Repeated calmly, repeated consistently, repeated without needing motivation. This is why hard work keeps people financially stuck. Not because it's wrong, but because it's rarely paired with the psychology required for compounding. If this perspective made you uncomfortable, that's a sign you're paying attention. And if you want a simple framework for shifting from effort-based progress to system-based compounding, check the link in the description. No hype, just structure.